So we'll start with the four great bodhisattva vows. Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to help them all. Delusions are countless. We vow to see through them all. Opportunities to awaken are infinite. We vow to embrace them all. The Buddha way is endless. We vow to embody it. Right, so we shall commence with our 15 minutes of seated meditation. So we'll chant the Gatha on opening the sutras. This Dharma, incomparably profound and minutely subtle, is rarely encountered, even in hundreds of thousands of millions of ages. Now we see it, hear it, hold, and maintain it. May we completely realize the true mind of all Buddhas. And
Can I
this
hear
evening,
you? Sorry. Can I hear you good today?
Okay, how about now?
Better.
Okay, here. Thank you, Naga. So tonight we have our Dharma talk coming from our Dharma brother in Pennsylvania, Hangdal Chita.
I hope everybody will excuse my official gray ceremonial Eddie Bauer t-shirt this evening. It's been that kind of day. So when one of his pupils was leaving, Gassan said, studying the truth speculatively is a useful way of collecting preaching material. But remember that unless you meditate constantly, your light of truth may go out. I think that's a great quote to start a talk with, because obviously I pulled it out of a book somewhere. If you listen to enough of the talks I give, there's sometimes a recurring theme having to do with reading and books, and I'll make statements about I could find a sutra to disprove any other sutra, or warn about reading. And I enjoyed a story someone in the Sangha once told about going to a Zendo and telling the master all the books they read, and the master said, don't read books. And so folks might get the idea that I don't like books or I don't think highly of them, and actually that's completely untrue. I love to read, I love books. I grew up in a house full of them. I have several bookshelves and they're just piled high every which way. You know, the books are straight in and then they're sideways on top of the row of books that are in, and maybe hanging off the edge and on top of the bookcase. Every now and then I have to go through and thin the herd, give some away, donate them. And I go through them constantly. And when I have a chance, which is not as often as I'd like, I still read a lot. I refer to different source materials and different things. But there's a danger in the texts, and I think the masters have been wise enough to warn us about this danger continually throughout time, which is that we replace texts and we replace studying words with a practice, and more importantly with the feedback we get from each other. And that's part of taking refuge in a Sangha, is that we're sharing this journey together. A number of years ago, I wrote a poem about my practice and where I was at the time, and I made the mistake of sharing it with Unsan. And he likes to quote it back to me every now and then, and that's always the danger of saying anything to anybody, is that they'll use your words against you just like a court of law. But the poem is, as I sit with my Sangha of books, I wonder, how is my posture? I wrote that at a time where I wasn't really involved in any particular Sangha. I was kind of practicing on my own. I've been in and out of some different groups, and I'm not always much of a joiner. But I'd recognized that at a certain point, for me at least, the books weren't doing it. And so I broke that down into the most fundamental aspect of what we do, the first instruction that a teacher will give a new person walking into a zendo, or a new person walking into the temple if you're in a different school, which is to sit, to mind your posture, to settle yourself in, to let the mind be and observe it. We talked about this recently. You sit and we showed the slides, you have your shoulders centered with your hips and your ears centered with your shoulders, and your chin slightly down and the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth. And so the point of all of this that I'm saying is, if your practice is studying and if your practice is reading books, you can read that description. But I don't know if that is ever as valuable as the most basic and fundamental instruction that a teacher gives you, or that hopefully your Sangha mates will give you, which is, hey brother, you're leaning a little to one side. You want to kind of center back in. Or it looks like you're dozing off. Wake up. We'll give you the little massage on the shoulders with the stick. Or no, I don't think you quite understood that translation of that word from Sanskrit or Pali. Those are the things you only get in communion with a Sangha, with a group of Dharma friends who you share the Dharma with, who you practice with, who you bounce ideas off, who you sit in front of. And there's something very irreplaceable about sharing that practice with people, about having people to talk to, run your ideas by, having people who don't believe your own BS, that you might have fallen into the trap of believing it. Having people that will say to you, I, me, and you get what they're saying, and you get it because you share the practice with them. Now, again, none of this is to say that the scriptures and the texts aren't important, they're vital. And it's not to say that there's not great value in them, but it is to say that part of the reason we take refuge in the Sangha, Buddha's exhortation to Subhuti about friends in the way, that is all of the path. And so when we stream forward, when we come together, we bring that Sangha together, we share the Dharma together, and we help each other, and we challenge each other, and we give each other advice. And so we practice as good friends, Kalyana Mita. We practice together as a Sangha, and then we're able to share the Dharma. If we're just walking out singly with a pile of books under our arm, we don't even know if we're sitting up straight. So for the Sangha, I'd like to end with something we haven't been using lately, and I'll dedicate this to our Sangha and to all the beings out there, because it really takes what I'm talking about and the thanksgiving for having friends to join on the path together. Infinite realms of light and dark convey the Buddha mind. Birds and trees and stars and we ourselves come forth in perfect harmony. We practice and recite this for all beings in the world, in grateful thanks to our many guides along the way.
Thank you, Reverend Hangdal. And I knew you were going to talk about the Sangha of books before it even came out of your mouth. Somehow, probably because you said the word poem, and it was like, in sudden awakening. So, back we go to sitting up straight. Eyes horizontal, nose vertical. And our 15 minutes of seated meditation. Chant the Heart Sutra. Mahaprajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, when practicing deeply the Prajna Paramita, perceives that all five skandhas are empty and is safe from all suffering and distress. Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. That which is form is emptiness. That which is emptiness, form. The same is true of feelings, perceptions, impulses, consciousness. Shariputra, all dharmas are marked with emptiness. They do not appear or disappear, are not tainted or pure, do not increase or decrease. Therefore in emptiness, no form, no feeling, perceptions, impulses, consciousness, no eyes, no ears, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no color, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no object of mind, no realm of eyes, and so forth, until no realm of mind consciousness, no ignorance, and also no extinction of it, and so forth, until no old age and death, and also no extinction of them, no suffering, no origination, no stopping, no path, no cognition, also no attainment, with nothing to attain. The bodhisattva depends on Prajna Paramita, and the mind is no hindrance. Without any hindrance, no fears exist. Far apart from every perverted view, and dwells in nirvana. In the three worlds, all Buddhas depend on Prajna Paramita and attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Therefore know that Prajna Paramita is the great transcendent mantra, is the great bright mantra, is the utmost mantra, is the supreme mantra, which is able to relieve all suffering and is true, not false. So proclaim the Prajna Paramita mantra. Proclaim the mantra which says Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. We're going to do our dedications of merit. As is usual, I have a list of names, and I'll leave a space for anyone to add in anyone they like. All sentient beings are one seamless body and pass quickly from birth to death. We remember those who cared for us and are gone. Those who are ill, those who are at war, who are hungry, and who are in pain. May they heal and have peace. We especially dedicate our service to Mrs. Kanti Pereira, Venerable Dewala Anamadasi Thero, Mr. Vindana Shivaman, Mrs. Amara Sarojani, Laura Haas Knox, Mike Gingy Wood. Anybody would like to add anyone in?
Chris.
Any others?
Bailey and Joanne Sheridan.
Any else?
One for Matulu Shakur, who's trying to receive compassionate care release. Thank you.
All beings in the 10 directions, subject to the greed, hatred, and delusions of themselves and others. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all honored ones, Bodhisattva Mahasattvas, wisdom beyond wisdom, Maha Prajna Paramita. This is the newest chant we have. It's available for download from the One Mind Zen Collective website on the practice page. If you want to grab it there, it's in a Google folder. But this is the faith in practice vow. I will never retreat and will be firm in my mind in this correct Dharma. I will escape from the samsaric cycle of birth and death and definitely will see my original face. I will be sure to inherit the life of insight of the Buddha and save all sentient beings. And tonight, I want to leave you with something a little different. The Buddha is inconceivable, beyond discrimination, comprehending forms everywhere as insubstantial. For the sake of the world, he opens wide the path of purity. This is what pure eyes can see. And thank you for joining us